I'm going to give you a scenario. Okay? You're the CEO of a company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you have this, you have to sell these barbecue sets.
Barbecue sets, okay.
And you're like walking back and forth, just be like, oh, these barbecue sets, they don't create any smoke. What do we do? What do we do? When you think smoke, who do you think of? Who do you think of when you think smoke?
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Snoop Doggy
Doggy Dog.
Okay, this is a GlassTruth revisit. That's what it is.
Comeback.
Do you know what happened to the CEO who
What happened? No, I don't
Snoop Dogg involved with, because I think maybe I'm paraphrasing it a bit, but you said it's a great marketing stunt and that like he did a really good job and you're like, yeah, well done, this company.
Yeah.
That guy got fired. Because the marketing stunt did absolutely nothing.
Oh, and they just spent a lot of money on getting Snoop Dogg involved.
A whole load of money to get Snoop Dogg. Everyone was like, oh wow, and it did nothing. I said it at the time. I was like, you know what, this is nonsense. And look what's happened. This poor man has lost his job.
Yikes.
Are you happy now, everyone?
But he's famous though.
Who is?
The CEO.
Because he got fired.
Because he pulled off a stunt. I know the company made no money, but he pulled off a stunt that's going to be talked about. It's going to be a case study in future marketing exams. So he's actually, I think he's come out as a winner. We're talking about him right now on this podcast. He's come out as a winner. Well done. What's his name?
I don't know.
This is the GrassTooth podcast.
Welcome back to the episode. Before we begin, I kind of want to give a bit of a heads up. I don't know if you can tell.
It's an episode full of bad news.
Yeah. I'm a bit ill. I was ill for the last week. Sad reacts only, please.
Please.
Probably can't tell by the camera, but my nose is very, very red. However, the benefit is my voice is deeper. I think I've got a manly voice now.
You sound super sultry right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to control myself. I just want to.
Oh, yeah.
Please, come on, Yonny, think about it. Listen, this.
Sorry.
We got all sorts of people in our audience.
I know.
Okay?
My bad. But just
you need to think about them.
In case you're like, who's this guy, man? He doesn't sound like Yonny. It's me.
He doesn't even look like he's doing his Clark Kent right now.
Yeah.
All right. But this is actually Yonny. I swear it's still him.
It's still me, guys.
But I understand that Yonny's ill. And he's like, you're trying, and he's here to make sure we've still got a show. But I think the person who's doing a bigger sacrifice is me by being here. All right? So I'm not ill, but I could catch this off of him.
You can, yeah.
But I'm doing it for you guys. All right?
He's doing it for you guys, and I'm doing it for your guys. I could have just slept.
I'm the real hero here. You think it's him? It's not. It's me.
You're taking my limelight, bro. How did you turn this into?
It's always about me. Okay.
Wow. But anyway, I want to tell you about something that I've discovered as of the past week, really. Okay. You don't really watch much Korean TV shows, do you? And when I say TV shows, I don't mean like dramas or films. I mean like entertainment shows, like
reality shows,
reality game shows, that type of stuff.
Right.
Like, have you come across any Korean ones before? Or
is there one called Singles Inferno?
There is, yes.
I've seen like snippets, bits and pieces here and there because, like I said, I've got family that watches all sorts.
Yeah.
There's also the 100. Is that one?
Top 100, yeah. Physical 100.
That's the one. Physical 100. I've seen bits and pieces of that as well.
I like that one actually. That was a good one.
I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
I mean, Singles Inferno. I'm not really a big fan of that one.
Seems like Love Island type stuff.
It just basically is a Korean Love Island. However, barring that, I feel like Korean TV shows are truly underrated. I feel like there's some really good ones, right? And obviously, there's the one that I think everyone's heard of, which is The King of Masked Singer. Is that the one? You've heard of that, right?
Just Masked Singer.
Is it just Masked Singer?
As in, there's like there's a Western version. Did Korea
that's
start
what
it?
I mean. So Korea started that. Now, that's actually originally a Korean TV show where people come out, like celebrities would like wear a mask and they come out and sing, and they've got a celebrity panel that guesses who's who, right?
So I've seen like maybe one reel
of
the Western Masked Singer, and it makes no sense to me.
I think you need to watch the whole thing. To be honest, I haven't watched the full episode either.
You haven't seen a full episode?
I haven't seen a full episode.
So,
no.
like,
I've just seen clips.
There's like a season, right? Do they have this during a season? Do they have the same team of masked people for every episode? Like, I don't understand who's doing the guessing.
That's a great question. If you know the answer, tell us. Because I don't know.
You're telling me Korean shows are underrated?
No, but this show isn't what I'm going to talk about.
Oh,
I'm just saying this show
is an example.
Because it started off in Korea, and I think it's now a show in the US and the UK. Like they've adopted it. They've created their own versions of it. So that's one example. I mean, I haven't watched it, but this TV show is something that I've watched before. I used to watch it quite a lot back in the day, and then I kind of forgot about it. But then it recently popped up in my YouTube feed again.
Right.
Thankfully. Mm-hmm. And I've just been binge watching it.
What's it called?
It's a Korean TV show called Hidden Singer.
Hidden Singer?
Hidden Singer.
Right.
Okay. It is such a good show. I don't know why you're laughing because it is such a good show.
In my head, when you say Hidden Singer, what I'm thinking is like hide and seek mixed with X Factor.
People singing. It is. I'm gonna explain the concept, right? It is beautiful.
Okay.
Essentially, each episode is about an artist, like a singer, right? A famous singer in Korea, and it's basically that artist. And I think at the start of the episode, there's 5 impersonators, and these aren't just like, you know, when you hear the word impersonator, it's not like a, you know, there's people that just impersonate and it's quite funny, and it's they adopt certain mannerisms, but in reality they're not actually like properly impersonating.
Yeah.
These guys are like, they've auditioned for this thing. They've gone through multiple rounds of testing, like vocal testing, not like drug testing, from the show's like internal staff. And these 5 people have been selected as people that literally have almost the identical voice as the famous singer, right? So the way it works is there's 4 rounds, and in each round, or, you know, obviously at the start there's 6 of them because it's the singer and the 5 impersonators. They're behind doors, like, and you don't know who's behind which door, right? And they sing one of the songs that the artist has sang, like a famous song from the artist, and they take like a couple of lines each, and then essentially they stop midway through, and then there's a panel, or just basically the audience of 100 people. But a few of them, I think there's like 10, 15 of them, are like either celebrities or they're like people that know the artist really well. They're close friends of the artist. Yeah. You know, if the main singer is like is part of a band, then the band, the band members are there as well. Right. And they have to like guess where the actual singer is.
Right.
And these guys, when I say impersonation, bro, like these guys genuinely sound exactly the same as the artist, right? And essentially, each round they vote for the person. So all 100 people vote for the person
who they think that is the actual.
Who they're like, this person is definitely not the artist.
Right. Okay.
And in each episode, in each round, someone gets voted off.
Yeah.
Until right at the end, you know, you have the winner. It's either the artist themselves or or an impersonator, right? And I was like, this show is amazing. It's amazing for a number of reasons, because it's funny. Like, there's a lot of comedy in it. It's really interesting to hear like the impersonators, because they're so good most of the time. And I'm just like, this show needs to come to the UK and the US. There needs to be a Western version of it, right? Off this, right?
Sorry, before you get into it, this reminds me of this age-old tale of, I don't know if you know this, Charlie Chaplin.
Yes.
Going to a Charlie Chaplin. He went to a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. And he came 3rd place.
Third place.
How does that feel? Like going somewhere, they're like, "Oh, this is imagine going to a Yonny show. You know, there are all these Yonnys impersonators, and you're not the OG Yonny.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You see another guy who's more Yonny than you.
Like, trust me when I tell you, there's artists that have fallen out in the first or second rounds, and it's crazy. Like, you just see how upset they are. Like, you know, when I told you the audience discussed, like, and a lot of them are close friends of the artist. They're like, yeah, no, it definitely is that person. And they come on, they're like, bro, how did you not know it was me in there? And like, it's so funny in that way. But like, the question is, like, do you have any like UK or US artists or any of your favorite artists that you would want in this show? Because I think honestly, this comes from a selfish point of view. I think this show needs to be made globally. It's so good. Do you have any artists in mind that you'd be like, cool, that'd be an interesting episode with that artist in it?
As in, first place that I went to was Tom York from Radiohead, the lead singer of Radiohead. He's got such a distinctive style and voice. it'd be great to see like 4 other people trying to impersonate that, because like, yeah, I think it's pretty doable. I've heard like impressions of it.
But are they good though? Are the impressions good, or is it like
is it funny? I didn't like it is funny, but like,
do you think you can spot like the impersonators and where the real artist is?
With Tom York, I'm not sure.
Really?
Already, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like
Really?
the sorts of things he does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
For me, I thought of 2 artists. I don't know why. Like, with one of them, I'm not like a massive follower of them.
Right.
But like the first one, I thought was The Weeknd. The Weeknd would be amazing. Because I love to see people try and imitate his voice. And like, I feel confident that I can spot the real artist. But like, it'll be so amazing to hear people. And secondly, Adele. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought Adele would be amazing for this show.
I've seen a clip. I feel like it was part of like a James Corden
I think I know
show.
which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Where she's like amongst a load of people that are auditioning to be like.
I mean, aside from this, really, can you do any impressions?
What's the most like tenuous segue?
Yeah. If you
were
on this show,
I don't like doing impressions.
Well, I know you don't, but I know you're good at impressions.
I'm not good.
I think you are.
This is like this is the last straw type stuff for me. Okay, this is like when I'm like,
it's a party trick.
65, and I've got no other options in life.
The grandkids.
This is when I pull this stuff out. Okay, I've got a few.
I know you do.
Yeah.
So let's say you invited a hidden singer.
Right.
Let's not even hidden singer, hidden celebrity. Like you can impersonate anyone, a singer.
You're really building this up, but
I'm really building this up. Yeah.
It's not that great.
Can you showcase who, if you had to audition and they say, listen, who can you actually imitate or who can you impersonate? Tell us. Who is it?
So just go.
Just go for it.
Oh, I need to like prep. I need some time.
Take as much time as you need.
I'm going to go here for a second. Yeah, I need to get into character.
Prepare off camera. You have to prepare for the camera. I just want to say... I've heard this... The thing he's about to do, right? I've heard this for the last 6-7 years. And
maybe longer.
Probably longer. Yeah. Every time I've heard it, it just gets better and better.
But like, I haven't done it in a while. And I've made some serious life changes since I did this.
Which will affect your ability to do it. Let's hear it, man. Listen. There's too much tension right now.
The lights are on me. I'm sweating a lot.
The audience want to hear. Give them what they want.
Honey. Oh, God.
That was sensational. I think in a lineup of 6 Marge Simpsons, I wouldn't be able to decipher which one's the real one. I think that was perfect, honestly.
Thank you.
That was fantastic.
I've been perfecting my craft over the years. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Mm-hmm. I sit there in my room in the dark sometimes.
You prepare yourself.
And I just imagine I am her. Okay, getting Bart Simpson's packed lunch ready for school. You know?
I mean, your shirt's the same colour as her hair, to be honest. So, I mean...
Listen, it's all part of the work, all right? It's all behind the scenes. You don't see this stuff, okay? Sorry, it's just I get really emotional when I talk about this.
So yeah, that's perfect.
Have you got any?
Oh, wow.
You weren't expecting
Wasn't expecting that reverse-aroo there.
He's got a really good impression of the Hoover from Teletubbies.
What?
I thought I'd just put you on the spot.
No, I've got one. It's a very short one.
Okay.
There's no way you can't. No, like, there's no way you don't know who this is. Oh. I literally just need a millisecond to do it.
I don't know if you remember doing this recently. You do. Do you remember?
Oh, is it Unarticulate, right? I pulled this off in Articulate.
There's only one answer to that.
Like, how do you not know who that is?
And our friend was completely... He had no clue. He was staring at Yonny like he was...
Who's that? There's no one else it could be, right?
I think I did it, but he's got a cold.
Normally it's a lot better, but I've got a cold, I've got a blocked nose, so I can't.
I feel like you could do a March right now.
A March?
Yeah.
Oh man, Lisa. No, I can't do it. So yeah, this is my hidden singer. His party. This is your infamous party trick that you bring out every time we're out together. It's just amazing. So I'm really happy that you did that, and I'm proud of myself for giving you that.
I was saving that for like episode 150.
Really?
Because like we've used up. I've got nothing else to give these people.
No more talents.
This is it. That was the bottom of the barrel.
Fair enough. I've had a challenging week, not just because of the illness, but for something else.
What happened, bro?
Right.
This is a safe space.
Exactly.
Discuss anything you want.
I mean, we talked about Korean shows, but let me talk about something else that's Korean. Right. Have you heard of the concept of dongchim?
I have.
You have.
But would you like to, for the
yes, for the audience who don't know what dongchim is, it's basically a Korean term for, I think, a universal problem or a universal thing that happens. Right. Mm-hmm. It's essentially where someone gets their fingers into this sort of position, like a gun position, right, and they stick it up someone's bum cheeks. Is that the best way to put it?
Sure.
They just shove it up there. Yeah. Right? Just do that. It's like a prank, jokey type thing, right? The issue I'm having is that my girlfriend's found out about this, and she is doing it at every single opportunity that she can find.
Yeah.
Like she will ask me to go up the stairs, and she will just ram it up there, like there's no tomorrow, and it really hurts, right? And after looking at, I was on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. This is a universal problem. You know, it's not just for me. There's a lot of boyfriends who are suffering from this. So I just want to just say something, right? You know how I addressed the girlfriends last week about the toilet?
Yeah.
I want to address the girlfriends about this issue, right? We're vulnerable. It really hurts when you do this. Why do you do this? What do you benefit from it? There's nothing good that comes out of it. Please stop.
This is a PSA from the GrassTooth podcast to all girlfriends out there. Stop. Think about what you're doing. And carry on.
Keep your fingers to yourself.
That's a golden rule.
I just want to ask, how do I resolve this situation? I want some advice.
So as you were talking about, I was thinking about potential things you could do.
Okay, yeah. Because at the moment I'm running away, but I don't like that. I don't like the fear and the suspense. Like when I'm coming out of the bathroom, she's hiding in the corner, and like she just goes straight into it. So like I need
when they do it, do they have to say dongchim?
She doesn't.
But are you supposed to?
I think you're supposed to. Yeah.
I feel like you're supposed to. It sounds like an exclamation.
Yeah, it needs to
But like, okay, preemptive. I think preemptive is the way to go. What you need to do is fill up the crevice.
Okay.
Maybe put like a book in there.
A book in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
A plug of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
A mouse trap?
A mouse trap is not a bad idea.
Wow, I just thought of that now.
Yeah. Right. Maybe something that like can shock her.
Like a taser.
Like a taser.
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
Something squidgy.
Yeah.
That she's not expecting.
Not expecting, yeah. Some chocolate maybe.
Shit yourself.
Maybe I could. She'd never do it again, right?
Never do it again.
She's like,
wait, what's this?
What is this? Wow. Yeah. I think I need to try some of these things out. I mean, the initial sacrifice is going to be a lot because obviously I need to put something in there. Right. But I think in the long run,
it's better that you put something in there
than
being forced.
100%. 100%. Okay.
Take control.
I will do.
Of your body.
I will do.
Okay.
I will do.
Your body, your choice.
That's exactly it.
I heard something. I was passed something by a friend of ours. Sent something because we are both of the South Asian descent.
Mm-hmm.
We both had certain like similarities in like who we grew up watching on the internet.
Okay.
JusReign.
JusReign.
Big fan of JusReign, I am.
Mm-hmm.
He is too. JusReign's just come out with a new, I believe it's a show.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a film.
Okay.
Called Late Bloomer.
Ooh.
Now, this is after like 5, 6, 7 years of just radio silence.
He was quiet for because he was quite big back in the day, but then he just stopped. He just disappeared. Right?
I loved watching his videos. They were so like
very funny.
Yeah, very funny. Like there's a lot of quite a few South Asian. Like I think Superwoman is like the big.
Mm-hmm.
She even got like a late night show or something.
Oh, okay.
Are you aware of that?
I didn't know. No.
I think she replaced like Craig Ferguson or something maybe, but like. For me, JusReign was the funniest South Asian YouTuber.
Right, okay.
Right?
Mm.
But like just seeing this show come out like after 5, 6, 7 years, I was just like, wow, there's like a whole I think over like the 10 or so years that I've been online, maybe no, it's longer than 10 years, like 15 years I've been online.
Mm.
There's just been so much change in stuff that I've been watching.
Right, okay.
So I was wondering what sort of stuff were you watching? Who were your like YouTube idols?
My YouTube idols?
Yeah.
Oh.
Who'd you look up
I mean,
to?
idols is a strong word. There's definitely people that I've followed and I've watched that in terms of their content I enjoyed quite a lot. So, I mean, off the top of my head, and I need to make sure I pronounce this properly because I don't want to get any hatred, but Niga Higa. Do you remember Ryan Higa? I followed him for quite a while, and I think it was nice to see in terms of with yourself and JusReign and seeing that kind of representation. I think for us, well, for lots of Asian people, it was Ryan Higa, right?
East Asian. We're just gonna make that clarification.
Ryan Higa was huge.
This is a issue. Sorry, I know this is a complete sidetrack.
Yes,
but like America, no, I'm not having it. All right. Asia is a huge continent, okay? You can't just say all Asian Americans are like just the East Asian part, all right? South Asia is also Asia.
It is.
And West Asia, I know you guys are trying to hide yourselves, but you are also Asia.
You're part of Asia. We're all one
Do you agree?
Asia. I agree. We're
West
all
Asia,
one Asia.
West Asia is what? What is West Asia?
West Asia. Let me just look at the map.
You're trying to give yourself your own name, but it's not happening.
What are they giving them?
Middle Eastern. Middle Eastern people, you are West Asian.
But they're part of the Asian Cup, so you guys are all Asian. we're Asian guys. All right? We're all Asian.
You don't want to be, but you are. Sorry, I don't know
That's
why.
Right, buddy.
But yeah, back to YouTube.
Back to YouTube. That took a really weird turn there. Ryan Higa was one. I think. I mean, I've definitely outgrown his content. A while back, but certainly at the beginning, I think KSI was quite. I just kind of liked how indecent he was. He was very playful, very prank. He was very pranky. I kind of liked that.
See, I liked PewDiePie a lot.
PewDiePie, ooh,
like
that's a good one.
I was watching a lot of his stuff when I was like in my early to mid teens.
Right. Okay.
And now, like after not watching him for a while, like randomly you see one of their videos pop up, right? He's moved to Japan. He's got a kid now.
He's like done with it, isn't it? Like he
says he's like gonna upload once in a while.
He's lived this life and he's just like it's finished. It's crazy. I don't know if you remember back in the day though. There was like an East Asian gym person called Mike Chang. Do you remember him? Like he was popping off back in the day,
right?
And then he just like randomly disappeared. And like he came out in an interview like I don't know if it's fairly recently, but kind of just went, yeah, I've earned my money and I've just kind of given up my character and I'm just living my life. And I think a lot of big YouTubers and influencers have done that. Like they've just kind of disappeared. They've got families now. It's crazy. They've outgrown it.
Yeah. Maybe the online persona's got a shelf life. Once you hit like mid-30s, early 40s, you just like call it a day.
That's it. And I respect it.
Speaking of though, people who aren't doing that, as in someone who's like sadly passed away recently, who like I was watching a lot, like especially on the reels, and I had no idea that Cooking with Linja, she's like was a chef, and she was she was collaborating with a lot of the YouTube short chefs and stuff.
Yeah.
She passed away. I had no idea she was suffering from cancer.
I saw it in a separate TikTok.
Yeah.
Or video. Yeah, truly sad. As I've grown older, I found myself watching a lot of like cooking TikTokers. Like she was one of them. I watch a lot of others. There's also like, I don't know if you've come across it. There's like this grandpa that makes like really nice milkshakes.
Right, yeah.
That
I've seen
like
a few of those,
it just soothes me, and like when I'm watching it, it just makes me smile, and I'm so happy. So when I heard that, it was really sad, man. Like it's just like, damn.
And her content, it was so unique. There was a very, it was my kind of humor, you know, like
same.
The kind of edits she would do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really sad.
Creative. No, I really respected.
Yeah.
Her work. Yeah, it's really
hustle.
Sad.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on from that. Is it time?
I think it might be time.
I think it's time to.
The GlassTruth. Making sense of nonsense.
Do you smell that? It's the smell of the truth! Yeah. Welcome to the GlassTruth by the GrassTooth podcast. It's me and Yonny. We get to the bottom of things here, okay? We're not scared.
The bottom of the barrel. Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
You said bottom of the barrel too many times. I don't know if you can tell, but we've reached our wits' end. We have no idea what to do with this
podcast. It's only episode 15, guys.
Yeah, and we've just completely, there's nothing left. I did my Marge impression. Okay, that's it.
The tank is empty, guys. The red lights are flashing.
It's just... Stop laughing, sorry. It's not a joke. We're struggling. Okay. I did my most overrated films of 2023 list.
Mm-hmm.
One of the films that I mentioned was a Tamil film called Leo.
Okay.
And I came across something quite interesting, which made me laugh. So I'm going to share with you. I don't know if it'll make you laugh. But this is the GlassTruth.
Yeah.
For this episode.
Try and make me laugh.
Petition filed for psychological examination of Leo director. A petition has been filed in the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court seeking a psychological examination of director Lokesh Kanagaraj. This petition seeks to ban his film, Leo, due to its violent content and demands a psychological examination of the director.
Wow.
All right. The petition argues that Leo predominantly features scenes that promote violence, including the use of weapons, religious symbols, and themes of drug use and violence against women and children. It also accuses the film of depicting antisocial concepts like riots, illegal activities, drug trafficking, the use of firearms, and the notion that any crime is possible with the assistance of the police. So, I've seen this film. And I read this article and it made me laugh because Leo is tame. It is such a tame film.
Right.
Compared to the kind of films that I've seen. And it just, this in my head, I've got this image of this Tamil guy, some random Tamil guy who's watched this movie and has just been so shocked by the content. He's like, "Oh,
shivering.
This is disgusting. Oof. We need to go to the court. We need to go to get this director's head checked.
Sign a petition.
There's something wrong with him."
My God.
But I was gonna bring this to you. Is an artist responsible for the art that he creates and the effects of it? Let me just give you some stuff that I've been thinking about since I read this. So I'm a big fan of South Korean cinema. My entry into it, it was, maybe I was like 13, 14 years old. It was during school, so we'd kind of crossed paths, but we weren't like best friends yet.
I think I know what film you're going to say.
It was about like maybe 1 a.m, and I wasn't tired. So I went downstairs, put the TV on.
Yes.
This film started, and I was sucked in immediately. Watched this whole thing. It blew my mind, and I was like, "What is this film?" I found out it was called Old Boy.
Yes.
Fantastic film. And that was my entry point into South Korean cinema.
It's a Korean film.
Now, if this Tamil guy, who's watched Leo and has been shocked to the core,
he's passing out,
watched Old Boy, he'd be finished. There'd be nothing left of him. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, like, it's weird because art is subjective, right? Film, whatever, is all subjective. Like, it's personal to the person who makes it, but it's also personal to the audience, I guess. But I think it's stupid, like, that any artist or anyone who produces a work of art is like made to be responsible for how the audience react. I think that's nonsensical. I think that also means if artists are bound by what they create in terms of they're bound by the behaviors of the audience that view their art, like, you can't make good art. Like, it's not authentic anymore. It's not like it's not real, because like you have to think twice about what you make. You can't really put what you want on the canvas. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think that's ridiculous. So it's a laughable thing. Stupidity.
This made me think about was, I don't know if you remember, as in, it's not about remembering, but if you know about Columbine and how after
is it the Dark Knight?
No, that was
that
was something else. This is after the shooting, they found out that the school shooters were listening to Marilyn Manson.
Right, yeah.
And then everyone was like, Marilyn Manson was the reason that these people became so dark, and everyone was against Marilyn Manson for a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like, do you think that they've got a point there?
I don't know if I can agree that they've got a point there, but I can see the point, if that makes sense. Right. Like, I think artists, and when I say artists, I mean it very broadly in terms of, musicians, film directors, whatever. Like, I think they should be held by the same kind of moral principles as normal people when they do stuff, when they make stuff. And I think certainly this is particularly heightened if you've got a big following, like if you're quite famous and you know that your art will impact a lot of people. I think you should be conscious of what you can potentially do, but that still doesn't mean you should be governed by particular sets of kind of responsibilities or duties.
But you just contradicted yourself about
how
you said that, like, you won't be able to create authentic art if you do police your own thoughts.
No, but I said just be mindful. That's all I'm saying. Just be mindful. That's just a general human thing, no? Like, for example, if an artist makes something which clearly incites violence and racial tension or whatever, and it's just got no meaning behind it, like, it's the same thing as me just going out, like, say this podcast has, like, let's manifest it, but this has, we get to a huge viewership, right? We get like 1 million followers, blah, blah, blah. And I come out on this podcast and I say something like, I don't want to say it, but like...
Are you crossing your fingers?
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, these people. Like, I'm quite direct with it.
Right.
Like, I need to be conscious of what I'm saying. That's not art. Like, if you're saying things which are deliberately just going to incite violence, it's going to create deep hatred of something, then you should be mindful.
Okay,
like, you can't be doing that.
Let me bring up another example. I don't know if you know this person. His name's Stanley Kubrick.
I might have heard of him.
He made a film called A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
And this film, it's about this gang who go around. There's like it's like almost like an alternate reality England. There's loads of gang violence. I don't know. They like dress up in their own little uniforms. They go around beating people up. And it's basically like a whole breakdown of like teen angst and gangs and the system, like how they try to reform, but it doesn't work. Like, it's just a whole like psychosocial breakdown of why the system doesn't work when it comes to reform. Now, when this film was released, there were copycat gangs. People started dressing up like the people in these films, and they went around beating up random people.
Right, okay.
Now, these people watched this film. Maybe they got it, maybe they didn't, but they decided to disregard the film's message. Like, I sure it's like maybe a bit too deep rooted in there, but they disregarded it or they didn't understand it, and they went out and did the same problem.
Yeah,
and because of that, Kubrick himself pulled the film from the cinemas. He was like, "We can't be like, I did. This isn't what I wanted it to happen.
Right. Okay.
So we need to stop." Now, is that Kubrick's fault? Looking back now, the film's a classic. Is it Kubrick's fault?
Define fault, like legally or
as in
socially?
Like the reason that, like, if he hadn't put out that film,
right,
that stuff wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but then you need to test the boundaries.
So the boundaries do need to be tested.
Yeah, of course you do. Because now you're saying it's a classic work of art. I mean, I haven't watched it, but you're now saying it's a classic work of art. If he didn't want to do it because he was restrained by those boundaries in the first place, like, and he wouldn't have created it. No, that's my point. Like, a lot of classic works of art, like, they've been created because they're there to test the boundaries. They're doing something different, and like, a lot of these things that come about, right, are kind of unfortunate. And it obviously, I'm not trying to deny the link that it has in creating these things, like with these like fake gangs coming up and doing that. But like, he shouldn't be held responsible for that. Like, he's done something because he thinks it means a lot to him, and it means a lot to just his viewpoint of society or whatever. Like, he hasn't done it with the intention of creating violence, if that makes sense. Like, it's an unfortunate byproduct of what he's created. So that's my point. Like, I think, like, you can't be held responsible as an artist for making something. I think it's different if your art, if you're clearly aware of the fact that it will do something because you've put in really, really overt messages of violence, of like, oh, go and do this to this group of people. Like, I think if it's that's not art. That's something else. That's like hate messaging and that kind of stuff. That's not art. Whereas if you've done something, with the intention of creating art because it means a lot to you, and this shit happens, like, you can't be held responsible.
I think so. Let me give you some background for this Leo movie, right?
Yeah. I want to watch it now.
It's on Netflix if you do want to watch it.
This is the Leonardo DiCaprio biopic, right?
The biopic, the Tamil biopic. Yeah. It starts with Titanic and then ends with Wolf of Wall Street, so it's like captures that part of his life.
Right, okay.
So I think a lot happened to the Tamil film industry post-COVID.
Okay.
So before COVID, there were the films got released, but then COVID happened, everyone had to stay at home. So no new films were being released.
Right, yeah.
So what a lot of people started doing was watching films from other places.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of like Western films and TV shows, a lot of like, just films from all over the place.
Yeah.
Started being watched, and the tastes of the Tamil audience as well as the Tamil film directors, just everyone in the whole state, kind of altered a bit.
Slowly started changing.
Yeah. So I think a big, like, some of the biggest influences in that we're seeing in Tamil cinema now come from like Breaking Bad, Narcos,
right?
A lot of these like shows, and like Quentin Tarantino. Like, Quentin Tarantino has been around for a while. Like, they've been like kind of imitating his work for a while. But I think Breaking Bad and Narcos, especially because they're both like on Netflix, I think like a lot of people started watching that, and you can really see it in like these small homages, in their films now. Sure, like I'm not a huge fan of it, but like it's cool that people are starting to broaden their horizons, and like they're incorporating elements from those. I think that's why this film Leo has been viewed, because it's for someone who doesn't have that, hasn't seen something like that. This is completely fresh and completely new, and it's kind of scary.
Right.
But this clash of cultures in the online world, it's going to happen, and I think even though I found it funny, like, this is the state of the world. All the borders are kind of collapsing.
There's too many disagreements.
What?
Too many disagreements of opinions.
We need to be less
disagreeable.
But to this guy who petitioned against Leo, I've got a list of directors here that I'd like you to check out. Okay? Park Chan-wook. Yeah? Bold Boy. Start off there. Most of his films, check those out. Michael Haneke. Funny Games, Cache, Check those two out. Lars von Trier, check that out. Like, check his films, Melancholia, Antichrist, great film. Stanley Kubrick, A Clockwork Orange, start off there. Martin Scorsese. You know, we were talking about how, like, getting old in the last episode. Mm-hmm. I realized I was getting old because the thing with me is, with films, when I was younger, I could watch anything.
Right, okay.
And I'd be fine.
Okay.
But I revisited a film called Casino.
Okay.
Maybe like 5 years. It was a while ago, 5 years ago. I watched Casino for the first time like 10 years ago, and then I rewatched bits of it 5 years ago.
Okay.
And there's a scene in it which on the rewatch I was like, that is disgusting. But like it was a lot more visceral than when I remembered it being. So there's a scene in it where Joe Pesci has one of his enemies. He has his head in a vice. Right. You know, like in DT where you have
and you like
had his head in a vice, and he was like interrogating him. He wasn't giving them the answers he wanted. So he just started like spinning it, and you could see the guy's like eyes start bulging out, and his head being pressed. Mr. Petitioner, check that film out. Casino. Any film by Takashi Miike, Japanese director.
Sounds funky.
Yeah, he's great.
Funky director.
Audition. Itchy the Killer. Great films. Check those out. Yeah. Let me know what you think, and then tell me if you think Lokesh Kanagaraj still needs to get his head checked. Yeah?
Tell me what's your opinion, though?
Of
this. Of artists, do they need to be responsible for the actions of the audience, or the aftermath of what happens? Like, are they responsible?
I'm a bit...
No, I'm not going to take on the fence.
I'm not on the fence.
Oh, you're not on the fence?
At all.
Okay.
I'm very much... let art be as free as it wants to be.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. I think art, all it is a reflection of us. Like, whatever you blame art for, you're blaming us for. Like, it's the same thing. Like, what we put into art is what exists anyway. You know? So don't blame the art. Don't blame the artist. Blame humanity.
Or just have understanding. Like, it's like, you know, with comedians, I hear it a lot of times where comedians, because that's an art, like having comedy, right? Hey.
No, some people call it a craft. It's different. Okay, it depends on how you look at it.
Okay, fine. But like comedy shows and stuff, like people complaining that, they go too far and stuff. And it's like, bro, it's the job of a comedian to test their boundaries and go far and like insult things and make jokes out of things. And like, I can understand if they say something which, you know, personally affects you, like, you know, it can happen, right? You know, they say a joke which is just meant to be a general joke, but something happened in your life and that particularly affects you. Like, yeah, don't blame the artist. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, you know, shit happens in life. Deal with it.
Get over it.
Deal with it.
And that's the GlassTruth.
Welcome back. We've got a special guest over here who's scaring our co-host.
Okay, so like I said, I'm not used to cats. This is my favorite cat so far. I do like her a lot. As you can see, I was very tense for a second. But yeah, to my cousin who was thinking about getting a cat, get a cat. She seems really cool.
It's a cool cat.
She's a cool cat. But I was speaking to someone else. And Mr. Bloomington.
Oh, I do know him, yes.
Rumble Snacks.
Yes.
He's right there.
Mr.
You don't
Snacks, yes.
recognize him, he's there.
Yes.
He doesn't want to look at your face.
He's always there.
And he had a question for me, and I was like, ooh, it's a good one. Because he was on the tube recently.
Ah.
And he was on his way here, because he gets here like I do.
He travels from
from his, we don't know where he lives. But he asked me, he was like, Gopi, do you think you could rank the London Underground tube lines from worst to best?
Okay.
So I've done that, Bloomington, just for you. And for you guys. Let me know what you think after I've done this ranking. Mm-hmm. I've got from 14 to 1.
14. There's 14 lines.
Yeah, I've included a couple that maybe some people would say that's not
Not really a tube line. Okay.
So in last place, Waterloo and City. So I've heard rumours of this line existing, but I've never actually seen it in person.
So that's why it's lost.
That's why it's lost. I don't even know if it's real. Is it just a myth?
What are your metrics for what is a good tube line? Like, what are you judging it on?
Hey, listen.
Okay, cool.
Buddy.
All right, man.
As I go through them,
you'll tell me.
You will understand.
Okay.
What makes something good.
Fine.
All right, it's so broad. I think what it boils down for me is just the overall experience.
Yeah, that is the most important thing.
Yeah? There's like so many things that add to this experience.
So if you don't experience it, it's lost.
Exactly.
Right, okay. Fine.
That's exactly
right,
it.
Okay.
So Waterloo and City, I actually looked it up afterwards. It's like got 4 stops. It goes from like Waterloo to like London Bridge or something. It might not be London Bridge, but it's like, yeah, just that's hardly even a line. What is the point? Sorry. Number 13.
Yes.
Bakerloo. Dusty, musty, and crusty. We had someone agreeing there.
The Bakerloo line is honestly, I think it's the worst.
It's so bad.
So terrible.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's like it's
the only line I have a visceral dislike for. Like like a bodily. I'm just like, I don't want to be on this.
Yeah.
It's affecting me. Like I'm sure it's like decreasing my lifespan,
life expectancy.
Yeah.
I every time I come out of the Bakerloo line, I'm like, I need to go home and have a shower.
Yeah.
It's so filthy in there. It's awful line.
And it goes from what, like Elephant and Castle up to like Harrow
Wardstone, yeah.
Like, what is who even needs that?
Fix up, man.
You need to fix up Bakerloo.
Crazy.
12th place, Circle Line. So I think the Circle Line looks more useful than it actually is. Like you
catfishing.
You look at it and it's like you're just going around London in a big circle, right? But like, I feel like if you remove the line entirely, no one would even notice.
I kind of get you.
Who wants to go the long way round if you could just easily just cut through? And like a lot of the bottom part of it is the District line anyway. And a lot of the top part of it is the Hammersmith and City line anyway.
It's like, so the Circle Line is essentially the little stupid brother that tags along. Do you know what I mean? You got the District.
You know when you're all like playing on the PlayStation and you give them a controller that's not connected. That's
what the Circle Line is. It's just, it doesn't need to be there. It adds no value. It's the one that the parents have just said, can you just let him come along? Because we feel bad for him. They've just stuck him in there. It definitely gives those sorts of vibes.
Number 11. The DLR.
Okay.
Do you know the DLR much?
Not that much, that's the thing.
Yeah,
so
it's not your part of London,
It's not
is
my
it?
part of London, no.
So, it's near me. I've used it a couple of times. It's a unique experience.
Okay.
But someone who I know that uses it more than me calls it the free LR. Because you can just hop on.
Ooh.
No one checks anything. But if someone doesn't respect you and they to like treat you that way, you know, are you all that? Have some respect for yourself, DLR. Okay? Don't be pushed around by your own people.
Wow.
And because of that, you're low down. Okay?
Lack of respect.
Fix up. 10th place.
Tell me.
Piccadilly line.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think what the other lines are. Because like the Piccadilly line isn't that great. It's not that great, is it?
It's not that great. It goes...
It's a slightly...
It's just a big diagonal, right?
Yeah.
It goes from like northeast London all the way down to southwest London. And I think the only thing it's really useful for, or it was useful for until something else came along, is that Heathrow to Central London connection.
Yeah. If you want to go to the airport, it's because apart from like how useful it is in terms of where it goes, for me it's all about the experience you have on the train as well. That's a big thing for me.
Yeah. Too many stops on the Piccadilly line, by the way. Yeah, it doesn't need that many stops.
Yeah.
Cut it down by like half.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's also one station that it just never like stops at. Honestly, is it turning green? Like, it just never stops there. Is it turning green?
I was thinking of something in like Central.
No, it's in between Acton Town and Hammersmith. It just never stops there. Why did you have a stop there? If it's not going to stop there, fix up, man.
Fix up Piccadilly. We're not impressed. Number 9. Hammersmith and City. It kind of loses points for me.
Right.
Because I feel like it's the yang to the Metropolitan Line's yin.
Oh.
So, you know how Piccadilly like goes diagonally?
Yeah.
Hammersmith is like southeast to like centralish.
Yeah.
And then it like kind of connects nicely with the Metropolitan Line.
Right.
And the Metropolitan does the rest of that diagonal, you know? And it's just too clingy for me.
Right.
You know, you guys are having your like little dance in the middle of London and like, why are you getting all of us involved in that? You know? I don't need to watch this. Get a room, Hammersmith and City and Metropolitan Line. It's disgusting. You haven't had any disagreements with my list so far? I haven't heard any serious concerns? Just be like, go Pinot!
Yeah, nothing to fight you.
Yeah.
Fight you about. I think I can kind of agree with a lot of things that you've said.
Hopefully that will change.
Yes, I want it to get juicy, because otherwise it's going too swimmingly. I don't like it.
Number 8. We have the Victoria line.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a little sexy. It's a little simple, you know. It's just direct. It just gets its job done.
Bit of a bimbo.
But what exactly? That's how I feel. What is it actually achieving? Victoria line? Overrated. It's overrated. It's snappy. It's quick. But I feel like it's a bit
interesting
overrated.
areas.
I think not the next one, but the one after that, interesting areas for sure.
Okay.
Number 7, Metropolitan Line.
You're taking the piss.
I feel like it's swanky, but ultimately, it's a bit hollow.
Excuse me?
The booth type seats are a plus. I like it, especially when you're there in a group. Just being able to face each other is nice. There's one later on, but like I think, the Bakerloo does that as well. You got that in common. Look at you.
The Met line it's a top 2 line, bro. What are you talking about?
It's not.
It's a top 2 line.
As in, I get that you've got a personal bias for it.
I've got a personal affinity towards the Met line because that's my go-to line.
But what does it actually achieve? It goes from like...
What do you mean, what does it achieve?
Northwest. To like, but fuck nowhere.
Where good people live.
But fuck nowhere.
Hard-working good people live.
To Oldgate, bro. Oldgate.
Just because it doesn't go near your ends.
It just like awkwardly ends.
Just because it doesn't go near your ends.
Oh no. Oldgate.
Bloody East London. You're just jealous. You're just jealous that you don't have it. It connects you to the Central Line though, which is near your ends, right? But listen, the Met Line, the quality of the train is the big thing. The experience. It's like arguably one of the best trains, like second only to one other line.
I get it. Like I said, it's
literally in the summer.
It's literally your way in. It's your way in. So I understand. All right. It like lends out a little hand to you. It's like, come on, Yonny. Let's go into Central.
Did you say 7th?
7th.
No.
Number 6.
You've got no credibility.
I've moved on. Maybe you should too. I've moved on.
No credibility.
Number 6. District Line. I feel like it's a line that you don't really know.
I don't know.
Exactly. That's why I like it.
But it's quite expensive, no idea. So I don't mind
it. It's just it's a real journey. Okay? It goes all the way from East London to West London. It's the story. It's literally the rags to riches story as a line.
Shut up.
I'm getting emotional just thinking about it.
I think in terms of the train quality, it's the same as the Met Line. Very similar.
Yeah.
I think are they almost the same trains?
No, it's not because they don't have the booth seats.
Oh, they don't have the booth seats. You're
the
right.
booth seats for like the newer trains.
Right.
So this is another thing that I thought about, which is better? Is it the trains where you can walk from one end to the other, or is it the separate carriages? I think they've got their own pluses and minuses.
I think they do, but I know what I prefer.
You want all the end-to-end action.
End-to-end, man. It's because,
sure you do.
it's because if you're in a booth where there's...
Human Centipede fan.
I've been in a few booths where, like, there's a few people that I don't want to be around. And you can just leave them if there's no booth. If there's no, if there's no separation, you can just walk down.
But then
and they can follow you. Cooler in the summer.
They can follow you. Number 5. Now this, I wanted to include it, even though some would say this is exactly the opposite of what your ranking is about. What is the ranking?
Like underground.
Underground. This is not underground. Right. This is the overground.
Okay.
London Overground. Is it okay for me to put this in?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I put it at number 5. The London Overground is like a labyrinth. Like you need to do your research before you get on it. You don't know where it's going to take you. It seems pointless, but it's actually surprisingly useful.
It's a bit of a Omega werewolf kind of line, I think. Kind of its own bracket. It's a bit of a lone warrior. It's a bit of a lone...
I thought you were... Okay, I was so confused at what Omega werewolf meant, but now... You mean Omega Wolf?
Omega Wolf,
okay, fine.
It's a bit of a lone warrior, but it does its job really well, I think.
Have you ever used eardrops?
No, I haven't used the hit drops, no.
You've never put like liquid into your ear?
No.
Okay, have you ever had like waterlogged ears?
Yeah, like in the swimming pool and stuff.
Yeah, you know when like the water like creeps into all these like crevices and stuff, and it just gets into those little nooks and crannies.
Right.
The London Overground does that for London. It just goes into all these like uncharted territories. It's like side quest.
So like different hustles.
Yeah.
But it's like quick as well. Like it takes you like I don't know the exact time, but from my place to central London, it's really quick. Like and it's quite good. I'm a big fan of the Overground. I think they deserve their praise.
Yeah.
Well done.
Number 4. We're in top 5 now. 5th was Overground. Number 4 is the Northern Line.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called the Northern Line. Because it is the line that I believe goes the most south.
But it goes north as well.
It does go quite north. But it goes, I'd say it's
the most vertical, isn't
almost equally south.
Yeah. You're right.
So I think
straight down to Morden, doesn't it? So
yeah,
that is very, very south. Yeah.
It's got a special place in my heart because it's the line that went to our school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like where it stops. It goes to Camden. I'm a fan of Camden. It's not... A lot of people hate it now because it's not what it used to be, but I think it's still got a lot of character. And yeah, I think the stops along the way, they're all good. I'm a fan
What's the quality of the train like? Is it good? Is it good experience when you're normally there, or...?
It's alright. It's like
I'm normally...
mid-range.
When I'm on that train, I'm normally quite...
Yeah, I know.
Inebriated, so...
What kind of state you're in.
Yeah, so I don't quite remember what the...
It's nice. I'd say it's mid-range.
Okay, mid-range. Okay.
Even though it's at number 4, quite high up.
Yeah.
I think it's more about where it gets to.
Right.
And I like the fact that it's just split right down the middle.
Right.
Yeah. And also, I like how it branches out into 2 in the. You've got Bank and Charing Cross.
Right. Yeah,
2 branches. It's nice.
Yeah. I just want to say, right. So we're in top 4.
Yeah.
Right. You've yet to say a line which I don't think even deserves to be in the top 10. So I'm guessing it's in the top 3, right? So say it now so that I can par you out. Tell me.
Number 3, we have the Jubilee line.
So this shithole of a line is in the top 2.
Jubilee line. I see this as the 007 of the Underground. You see that? It's sneaky. Stop laughing. It's sneaky. It gets shit done, you know? And everyone's always... You know, Canary Wharf is a big stop there, and everyone's going to work into Canary Wharf. They got their suits on. It's just... I like it. You know, it's very efficient. I think you can get from one end to the other in 50 minutes.
What I will say about the Jubilee line is it's one of my favourite lines as well. It's definitely in my top 3.
Yeah.
It's in my top 3 because firstly of the stations that are on there, a lot of stations that I go to quite frequently in terms of the places I like to visit. So London Bridge, I go there quite often. Stratford, it's there. Like stops wise, very good. Secondly, as you said, it's super quick. Like from stop to stop, it's like a minute. And like, you know, sometimes when you look at the tube map, you're like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to be? But like, it's super quick. And the big thing, which I think is really underrated, is the connectivity. Like you get data, you can get data.
For Jubilee, a lot of it,
that's just mad.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. The Jubilee line is honestly one of the goats of the tube line. So big fan of the Jubilee line. Very very big fan.
Yeah. Speaking of goats, though, put our hands together for number 2. Just the OG. When I think underground tube, this is the line I think of. You've got the Central line at number 2. Extremely underrated. The unsung hero. All right? Do you know the Girls Aloud song? Sound of the underground. Beats of the drum go round and round. This is the line they were singing about. You go in there, you hear that roar as it's just going from station to station. And you're just like, yeah, this is what Girls Aloud are about. Okay? It's sweltering in the summer. You're just so hot. It's just so stuffy. You think you're going to pass out. And it's just packed because everyone needs this line. It's so useful. Okay? The Central line is the banana of the London Underground. Let me hear your piece.
I genuinely think I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Do I need to get my head checked?
You definitely do. You need to get
a
everything
psychological
checked.
Examination.
Like the Central line. Okay, listen. I'm gonna put my hands up and agree on one thing, right?
Okay.
The Central line has the most, in terms of the what it covers. It's good in that aspect. It covers a lot. You know, all the way from kind of west to east. It covers a lot. Right. Fair enough. You've mentioned it there. In the summer, the Central line. How do I say this? It's literally like a. No, I don't want to say it because it's terrible. It's the worst experience ever. You're sweaty. It's packed. It's so awful, man. It's just so shit. And like the experience is awful. The tube, for how important it is, supposedly, like it's the smallest one. Like you just feel so cramped. You can't breathe in there. And secondly, what's going on at the final bit in East London? What's that circle thing?
All sorts of things.
It's stupid.
It's not stupid.
It's stupidity.
It's not stupid.
It's stupidity at its finest. Why? Like, you know when
I like to call it the cinnamon roll.
It does not make sense. Like, because the distance between some of these stations, right, which is on the loop, right, in reality should take 5-10 minutes. But like, if you take the Central line, it takes 45-50 minutes.
It's got its own little circle line thing going at the other end.
Little sideline. It's stupidity.
It's
stupidity
not
at its finest. Stupidity at its finest. Quality of the trains are the worst.
No.
It's not even top 10 for me.
Also, Central line. So it's the night tube lines are Central, Northern, and Piccadilly? Not Piccadilly.
I'm not quite sure, actually.
Central and Northern are definitely night tube. Central line, after a night out, that's my line. It gets me where I need to be.
See, that's your thing. It's just a personal thing, isn't it?
It's not a personal thing, bro.
It's a personal thing, bro. Oh, it's my line. It's often like, it's my line. That's why you've got an affinity with it. The same way I've got with the Met line.
Met line's not night tube. It's not night tube.
Stay open a bit longer, man.
It's not night tube. For who?
For me.
For people who live in Amersham. Ugh.
Hey, Amersham's good, man.
I don't know anything about Amersham. No
Amersham
one knows anything. Unless you live in Amersham, you don't know anything about Amersham.
Come on, bro.
And in first place,
undeniable.
A recent addition.
Fairly undeniable.
I like to call it the best thing to happen to London in the 21st century. And that includes the Olympics. It's the Elizabeth line.
R.I.P.
It's basically... Oh, shit, I forgot she was dead. It's basically the new and improved Central line.
It's a godsend, I think.
if I actually start talking about
it, emotional.
I'll start crying.
Yeah.
It's just changed my life since it's been here for a couple of years, a year or two, and yeah, it's just revolutionized my travel.
I think it's what every tube line needs to try and it set the mark, it set the benchmark, and it's like you guys need to try and be like this.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, what is your favorite TFL line? All right. Lizzie line's great. We both agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Central line, there was a bit of a disagreement.
A huge disagreement.
Bit of a disagreement.
Huge.
Someone is refusing to admit that something that is useful is necessary. All right? We've had this before. We've seen this from Yonny before. Okay? But I want to hear it from you guys. I know that the central line gets a lot of hate, okay?
It deserves it. That's
no,
why.
It doesn't.
It deserves it.
No, it doesn't.
It deserves it.
A line that stops at Tottenham Court Road cannot be a bad line.
With great power comes great responsibility. And the central line...
The central line does so much heavy lifting.
But why is it so shit then?
Because it's just tired. It's basically like a tired mum that's just always working, okay? And you're like, oh, why are you dressed shit? To your tired mum that's constantly working. All right, she hasn't slept properly in years. And you're like, oh, get some better clothes. Leave her alone. Let us know in the comments what your favorite line is. Follow us, subscribe, do everything you need to do. We love you. I hope you love us too.
We love you like we love the Lizzie line.
I don't know if I said I love the Lizzie line, but if I did, I take it back.
You love the Lizzie line.
No. I don't love inanimate things.
We love the Lizzie line.
He does.
And that is a wrap.
Thank you. Sayonara.